The writing is on the wall. If we're not moving containers, there's no work, which means the companies aren't making money. And you have to make money to survive in this environment. It's just the way it is.
It's truly going to be a catastrophic year. I mean, more than half of the folks that I know are talking about closing their doors.
The bottom line is, Bill, we get about $400 billion in trade with China imports. Most of it comes here. People here I've spoken to, they want fair trade. The question is, how long is it going to take to get that before you start losing hours or shifts or even layoffs?
On the whiteboard, this is something you pointed out. Okay, it's something called blank shipping, right? All right, blank shipping. So I'm just going to draw a container ship. Blank sailing, sorry, blank sailing. Blank sailing. I'm not going to put a sail on it because it's a big cargo ship. But you got a big cargo ship here, okay? Usually it's full of cargo on the top. Beginning of the year, these ships leaving Asia, 0% of them were skipping ports. They were going to every port. They were picking up what they had. Containers were full. 100%. Okay, now 40%. These are the numbers you're pointing to, Dan. As many as 40% of these ships, guess what? Okay? Bypassing ports. So inventory's down 40%. And ships have to go when they have to go. You can't just sit around and wait. So they're going with just a few containers on them. Just these half-empty, who knows what. From 0% to 40.
And just think about what it's going to look like over the next week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And that's why deals need to get done, because this is what business leaders from e-commerce, across every industry are basically saying, like, time's ticking, and guess what's going to happen? Shortages, massive price increases, and that's where, look, we just talked about, for the U.S. consumer hasn't seen it yet.
No.
It's come, remember, it goes back to, like, it's like being on a beach, and all of a sudden, like, you're in the ocean, there's no water. You're like, oh, this is crazy.
I'm gonna run out and check it out.
I'm going to run out. You're like, no, it's because the tsunami's coming. So the point is that the reality is that he needs to get deals done.
But this is this question, Peter, that I'm trying to understand. With China, a deal doesn't just happen with the snap of a finger and a go. No. I mean, at least there would be nothing to indicate that that's how it's going to happen. But we're in a situation where if you look at the ships and you look at what's happening, right, that can be a blip only if you have an immediate sudden change afterwards.
The logistics of I'm working with a guy named Andrew Sofko who runs a company called Batch. We've talked about how AI is coming into the logistics space around trucking in the United States, and how complicated that is, and how important it is that every little check, the trucks have to be full, they have to be on time, all of that work. Think about it, when you're only going at 40% inventory, that's going to start, so the ship lines are going to be losing money. Everybody is going to start losing.
You don't get your inventory, then I don't get mine. They don't get theirs.
If it opens up back up, those are all late.
And then you even talk about, you're talking about even like Christmas. The point is this, but that's what we're dealing with.
And the retailers and small businesses, and we talk about the stuffed animal company, they're saying they put in their order for 80% of their sales, Christmas, by the end of May.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's normal.
That is the lead time for this thing. And that's the lead time that's going to start affecting when it starts affecting food and all kinds of other, look, you saw that with Target and Walmart. Actually, the CEOs of a lot of the retailers went to the White House apparently to talk and say, this is real for us.
And how do you price it? Because you don't know what you're pricing. And you've talked about that.
Huge uncertainty. Well, here we are, another weekend, and again, the market hoping, right? Because the market's saying, got to be a deal because the alternative is so horrific it can't contemplate.